This is a set of thread wires, and I bought these at a swap meet, and they've been calibrated in '09. That looks like a Caterpillar type of calibration there. I think the guy worked at Caterpillar. I hope he owned them and didn't just take them home. But inside there are, perhaps a dozen or 20 different sets of wires, and there's 3 in each diameter, and they're marked as such here. And then it came with a little chart, and in the chart you look up what thread you are trying to measure. This is kind of oil soaked. Well, the ones on the left hand page are for metric, so we don't care about those, but in this chart right here we would look up 18 threads per inch, which is right there, and it tells us to use the 32 thousandths wire. I've already taken those wires out of here, that's why there's an empty spot. And then there's a little formula here that you need to use, and I'll get to that in just a second. Thread wires are difficult to use, and they're difficult because you need 3 hands. Now sometimes this will still be in a machine or in a vise or whatnot, but you still have to hold the 3 wires in place and then a micrometer to measure across the 3 wires. And that can be pretty difficult. So my way of doing that was to take a piece of plastic here, and I used very small drill bits, just a little bit less than the diameter of the wire. I drilled some holes in the appropriate spot, and you can see there's 2 wires on one side and 1 on the other, and that's going to be very easy to hold. Now some people use rubber bands, they use clay, they use wax, and if you're dexterous enough you can just hold them in your fingers, but I don't have the practice to do that. So this is what I came up with. It's a nice way to hold them. I think there are commercial ways of holding them, but you need different size plastic here for whatever diameter wires you're using or whatever the diameter of the thread is that you are trying to measure. But that's my way of holding them. If you look at this little chart that came with the wires, you can see the cross section of the 3 wires there, and now those are the anvils of the micrometer on the top and the bottom here, one my thumb is on. And that's basically what I'm doing here right now, is I'm holding those little wires, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. And this works slicker than can be with this little piece of Delrin that I've got here. And my dimension is 571. I'm going to write that down, and that's for the commercially made bolt, and then I'm also going to measure the one that I cut on the lathe yesterday. Looking at the threading chart now for 18, there's a constant in this column, and the constant is 0.04789. I'm going to round it off to 48 thousandths, and that needs to be subtracted from the dimension that I came up with here on the micrometer. So I have done that, and that was 571 minus the constant of 48 thousandths. So I come up with a pitch diameter for this commercially made bolt of 423. Now the actual pitch diameter should be 526. That's only 3 thousandths off, so that's mighty close. You know, just 1.5 hairs, 1.5 human hairs off. And they have to allow for plating also in the plant, the thickness of the plating. So that's really a good job of what they did there on that commercial